Bo build this car with his hands for years now.
He can't get up the hill. Pretty fresh unit right there. If you look inside the trunk, empty inside of there.
Do it for Lieutenant Colonel Bo.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Po Boys, and in this video we're going to be working on the drift car, bringing it back to life and finally going to be getting it ready to thrash. So big thanks to, first off, Gavin, It's Just a Six, so go follow his channel because he's been helping me out a ton, and now I'm actually moving in Georgia and I'm working for him. So I'm going to be on his channel a whole lot, so if you want to see more of me, check out his channel, and then I'll also be uploading more as well. But to start this thing off, Steeda sent out these spherical bearings for my rear end for the 8.8, and without any sort of questions asked, I'm about to put these in the freezer.
Motorsports Park in a motherfucking race car. What in the world? This is the first time we got to see this on my channel.
We are on the track right now. Got some cars whipping on the track already. Probably about to go grab some gasoline here in a second, maybe a snack, and then do a little 50-50 while we're out here. All right, guys. So we've got a mix of cars right here, and right behind us, we happen to have the most badass looking skid pad ever.
There will be sprinklers shooting out of the ground. And basically this entire thing turns into a complete liquid slide skid.
Brother, what?
Yep.
What?
So, you've been saying you wanted to have some fun in that car and see what it's about, so now you're gonna be able to see what it's about.
That sounds great.
Poe is gonna blow up his car right here.
Of all the places, this isn't a bad resting place for Yeet. Is that his name, Yeet? Or Skeet?
So this entire skid pad right here is going to just turn on. It has an on button and water just shoots out. It's raining right now, so it kind of defeats the purpose, but we're gonna have more water.
Oh my goodness.
Now rushing down the hill. Dude, that is so cool.
What?
So this entire thing is about to be hydroplane zone.
Waterfalls!
Bo, jeez, make us proud, buddy. Guys, I have watched Bo build this car with his hands for years now, and now I get to see my boy live for the first time.
Oh shit! He gonna do the reverse, Chris Skidley!
Let's go! Make sure y'all watch yourself. Not too bad, bro. Not too bad. Oh, you saw him locked it. All four were locked. All four were locked. He was trying to stop. Hey, let's go. Go slow. Just tap the throttle lightly.
Dude, that's so dope.
So bad, it's like one tire fire, two. One tire fire, two.
We'll weld it and come back.
We're dialed. Like, holy crap, this is fun. Oh my goodness.
It be boot scooting.
Brother, we're boot scooting.
Oh shit, there it goes. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Clean, clean. Oh yeah. Well, that is so cool to see. Look at the oil. Look at this. Oh, yeah. Yeah, hey, we should let him know what you think. A little bit. That shit's cooking. It looks great.
It's so fun.
He said, am I allowed to something? So this time.
I think he said, am I allowed to drift the tarmac?
Oh my God, give it up for that.
Very clean, very nice.
Not bad for our first thing done.
So this is his first time ever attempting to drift at a track. He's still got an open diff on the car. Basically right now the problem that we're having is that the open diff is letting just one tire spin. It's letting just one tire spin, so that's the problem.
That thing kept perfect temperature, perfect oil pressure, perfect everything.
No shit.
Oh my gosh,
Hell
it was at
yeah.
180 degrees the whole time.
So once we roll the diff, it's gonna be really reliable for drifting.
Literally, that's the only thing is I would clutch dump and then one tire would spin and I'd have to do it again and then like it would be like,
Yeah.
and then the one tire would roll. You
Well,
already know what that
anytime
is.
you need drift practice, we have a lovely hill thanks to Atlanta Motorsports Park. Thank you guys so much. Yeah.
He definitely got the drifting.
Oh, yeah, he's got that
If he had a welded diff or an LSD in there, he'd probably do really good. Damn, boy, flexing on him. He can't get up the hill. He can't get up the hill.
We didn't fix that, bro. You got big.
Oh yeah, I got the big. Well, we can come back.
Guys, so in the midst of being at Atlanta Motorsports Park, the car actually had an oil leak on it. So I wanted to go ahead and check a few things. Why the heck is my brand new engine leaking oil? Because everything's new, all the gaskets are new, everything was tightened and torqued down properly. I know it sounds crazy coming from me, but since it was expensive, I went ahead and made sure it was done right. So since we had an oil leak coming from it, I checked the oil and it wasn't even registering on the dipstick. So I had to put more oil in it, and then I wasn't able to really do anything crazy. So we just did a few skids at the park once I made sure it was full. It's not a big leak, but it's definitely enough to do some damage. Let me show y'all what happened. Yeah, we're low. The car leaked oil and we're low, but that's not good. Definitely can't take it on the track with that. Let's see if it's actually like actively leaking. Almost like rear main-ish. Possibly, but I don't know. I don't see it actively dripping, but it's not on the dipstick. It's right at the very tip of it. Okay. I still got 51 PSI of pressure. I think I might just roll up to that gas station.
Well, I don't know if I would drive it all the way to the gas station. It's 10 miles away.
Dang, that's really unfortunate. I don't even have to put a different oil in it. This gas station literally hooked it up, and they had the freaking funnels on deck too. Dang, that was a really unfortunate problem to have. Oil go in. So if you look up under the car, you can see there's oil that is dripping from the pan. There's oil all over the place. This is the transmission, that's the bell housing. There's a lot of spots in there with oil. It really doesn't stop anywhere. All over the starter, all over the side of the engine, all over kind of everything. It doesn't look like there's oil inside of the rear main area, so I don't think that would be leaking. But if you go to this side of the car, that is the oil dipstick tube. For the dipstick on the engine, that's the tube that it goes inside of. It's popped out a little bit, and it's definitely coming from there, because if you look at the starter, she's covered in oil. So that's probably where my oil leak's coming from. So let's fix that. So that's just one bolt right here. There the bolt is, and then the whole thing should pop out.
Hey, you mind if I film a promo real quick?
Yeah, you can film from right quick.
Speaking of promo, Gavin's currently giving away a Ram SRT10 truck, which basically means it's a Viper engine inside of a single cab stick shift truck, so it's really cool. Every purchase on itchjustasix.com is one entry to get entered in to win this truck, and maybe some awesome other things. If you watch his channel, keep updated and stay subscribed, you'll be able to see some even cooler things he's giving away.
We're gonna go ahead, pull this all the way out,
and get this whole entire dipstick tube out. Why would you take out the whole entire dipstick tube, you ask, Po Boys? Because we went to the store and we got a whole entire new dipstick tube. So, got that off, and we'll put the new one in the car right now. But as far as the new dipstick tube goes, there is a new dipstick tube in its place and finally set. It's cleaned up of all the oil. So if there's another leak, we'll be able to find out exactly where it's coming from. And hopefully this doesn't leak anymore, and hopefully we don't have any more problems from this. Now all we gotta do is put the dipstick in. And now we have dipstick. Check to see. And we have oil on dipstick. And I run it a little bit high because it's a drift car. Even though it's a baffled oil pan, I still run it a little bit high because I don't want to risk ever having a problem there. We're back going good again. Hopefully there's no more oil leaks. We got to keep that stuff in there because we need pressure. We don't want to lose oil pressure. And luckily the whole entire time we didn't have any oil pressure issues, which is why I wasn't worried about it, because I knew it was still getting oil. It just was leaking from somewhere. And the side loads on probably the curvy roads that we were taking probably was enough to slosh the oil out of this little dipstick tube hole. So out with that old one, in with that new one that looks a lot better. No more oil leak.
So if you haven't noticed, all this footage is from about a year ago, but it's not been posted on my channel yet. So I wanted to show you guys basically what the car has been through in its process and what needs to be done to it. So as you can tell, the rear differential on my drift car is not having fun. Every time I kick the clutch, it doesn't stay consistent on if the differential is going to lock up and spin both tires or if it's just going to spin one tire. And that makes the car really uncontrollable, so we need to fix that. Gavin, also known as It's Just a Six on YouTube, you can go follow him and give him a like for helping me out so much, is letting me take my car into his shop and fix all the differential issues so we can get this thing ripping. And this video will show you basically what you should do and what you shouldn't do.
That's dope. This thing is sick.
Gavin just drove my car for the first time.
Even though it was only moving inside, that was honestly like the coolest experience in a car I've had in a bit. That's definitely a different feel.
Wait until you literally just clutch kick it and you're like, oh wow, let's do whatever we want. And then you can use all of that steering to make you go sideways.
But we got my car pulled inside the shop and it's time to finally work on that diff so we can actually do burnouts and drifts and not one-wheel peels, because that's so depressing on a car that's built so much to be a drift car, having one-wheel peels happen. So let's fix that right now. All right, guys, so we have the car on the lift. I'm gonna go ahead and lift it up. And we're gonna see the underside of this thing for the first time in a very long time. Curious to see what it looks like. All right, guys, so we're up under the car right now, and if you can see right here, there's a lot of fluid. So we've got rear end problems. This thing's been leaking for a long time and we need to get it fixed. Look down the line, everything else looks like it's been doing fine. The cutouts, as you can see, are in place and fit just fine. They've only rubbed a few times, but really not that bad. Not any major damage or anything. So that clearance is good, but we also have everything else up here. I went ahead and nut and bolt checked everything. So I know everything down here is tight, everything was good. Now we need to go to the back end, and this is where we start here. What I'm gonna start with is going to be the sway bar. I'm gonna remove this link right here, and then I'm gonna remove this shock link right here. And then the whole axle should fall down a little bit more. Sway bar. I'm gonna hang these up with some zip ties so they don't hurt the brake lines, because what we're doing now ain't good. So the diff is pretty much taken apart. The axles are ready to come out. We got the brakes off. We got them hanging from the control arm right there. All right, guys, so I've got the diff cover ready to go, and I'm gonna go ahead and pry it apart real quick. And we should pull this off. And there it is. And we can see our diff, and we can also see that it has been leaking. So let's go ahead and take this cover, put it over here, and it smells so freaking bad, it's not even funny. It doesn't even smell like sulfur, it just smells like booty. There's our gears. I'm pretty sure those are 255s. So we're gonna go ahead and pull those out of the car because we're like idling at 70 miles an hour. Let's put some 410s in this thing. We got ourselves a set of 410s and an entire kit to rebuild the axles on this car, and also upgraded axles and LSD posi track for this car. I have this thing pretty much extremely taken apart. Other than that, everything is gutted right here. We need to take the wheel bearings out, and I also found out that these bushings are shot and bad. If you can see, they're cracked inside of there. So pretty much every 4-link bushing I have inside this car is basically destroyed. And now it's time to take the whole entire exhaust off and get room for the transmission to come out. And that's why we make exhaust systems really easy to install and uninstall. As far as the rear end goes, we're not doing anything with that right now because I just got a new slave cylinder because this one, if you can tell, is leaking. And I don't want a leaking slave cylinder. So I had to go to the parts store, and yes, I went ahead, got me a brand new slave cylinder, got some fluid to bleed it back on the car. And I also have up here the spacer plate, which should make my spacing 100% correct. This needs to go in between the slave cylinder and the transmission so that way they can make a good mate and actually push the clutch as far as it needs to push. If the spacing is just a little bit off on these, then it can make it really hard to drive. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but every time I've gone for a 1-2 shift in this car, like every single time, I miss second. And it's not because I'm not like doing it right. I'm pulling back like you should on any car. But the thing is, the transmission isn't releasing the clutch enough, so it's not able to synchronize. So I literally have to double clutch it every time I shift into second. It's kind of annoying, and I want to be able to just drive this thing how it should be. And like, I'm tired of missing that 1-2 shift because dang, this car would sound so good with a nice 1-2. So we should be able to shift this thing good after we get all that stuff on there. And also, I don't know if you noticed, but this is my T56. I didn't pull the bell housing because we don't have much space to pull the bell housing, but there is a ton of room. In fact, more than enough room to pull the transmission off of the bell housing if you ever do a swap into a T56 in this car. So you could definitely pull it from under the car. I would be comfortable doing this on jack stands, let alone a lift. So I've got the bolts taken out of the slave cylinder right here, so now it's free floating on there. I can take this whole entire transmission and just kind of move it backwards. And then I can take that whole slave cylinder off, and now I've got a free floating slave cylinder. This needs to be replaced, and I need to disconnect it, this quick disconnect right here, and then the new one should be able to go on pretty simple. All right, so I have the new slave on here. I'm gonna take this plate, put yonder, and then take this, and then put that essentially yonder. Now that it's bled, line up these holes, bolt that in. I gotta pull the transmission back, and now that it's not gonna be leaking anymore. So hopefully that works, and hopefully I can shift this thing finally. All right, guys, we got the exhaust right here. Everything is welded up. It should have no more leaks in it, and I went ahead and took the V-bands off of the exhaust because the ones that I had weren't good. So I'm gonna put some clamps on there, those guys right there, until we can get some better V-bands. Those just have to come in eventually. The trans is in there, the new slave is in there, as well as the new spacers, so that problem should be fixed. I also made a new trans cross member, which is just a solid mount. I just took some steel and literally just welded it. So it's nothing crazy and it's nothing pretty, but it is just a little welded cross member that I made, so that way we can have at least bolted up transmission. So it's 100% bolted up and everything is good. All I had to do is drill holes there for the stop location and then holes there for the T56. And now it's mounted in place with no issues. So let's go ahead and get this exhaust back up on the car. I have the exhaust back in place and I have these new little band clamps right here, because the ones that I had, if you look at them, you can see that it's sealed right here, and there didn't. And on the other one, you can see kind of the same pattern. All of them, they barely seal, and there's no way that they can actually connect to each other. It's just a flush connection. They're just low quality V-bands. So we're literally replacing it with the most cheap quality thing ever because it's kind of better than what we currently had. And now it's time to put transmission fluid inside the car. TIC Performance told me to use Dex 3 transmission fluid. I decided I'm gonna go ahead and get modal. I was looking for a funnel and I was like, wait, I got modal. So whenever you get the nice stuff, you can just do this. It pops out with its own little funnel. So look at that. You don't even have to use a funnel or anything whenever you fill up the fluid. So I'm gonna fill that up real quick. And basically the way you fill up the transmission fluid is you fill it up until it leaks out of that. And once it leaks out, it's full. All right, guys, things have escalated so quick. Things have escalated so quickly, it's not even funny. So we got a press right here. We're gonna go ahead and be using that. And I also have a slide hammer on this wheel bearing. So on the other side, let me show you what it looks like. It looks like this. I already pulled the seal out. Now I gotta pull the wheel bearing out itself. And that should be just as simple as using the slide hammer, which should be just as easy as this. And now my wheel bearing is out. You can see, that's it right there. That's the wheel bearing, and mug pops right out. So I've got the entire setup for this car, and we are about to start installing parts. Right here, I have the old parts that we're gonna be reusing. The C-clips for the axles, some of the shims right here, we're gonna go ahead and use the same shims as we started with for the start, and if not, we've got a whole shim kit, and some shims for the pinion right here if we need to use those. New gears, which are 410s compared to 255s, definitely get a lot more power out of those. And then also right here, we have a Yukon locker, which is a Torque style LSD. Pretty fresh unit right there, and we have some wheel bearings, all the bearing stuff, new wheel studs, and pretty much everything to get this car back up and going in the rear end. Because if you look at the rear end right now, it is literally just empty. Cleaned out the bearing races there, empty inside of there, and also on this spot, empty inside of there. So this rear end is completely gutted, and now we get to start putting stuff in. Sorry guys, I keep skipping steps, but I ended up putting the wheel bearing in on this side and I put the wheel bearing in on this side. So we've got fresh wheel bearings. I'm gonna go ahead and grease this up and then put the axle seal in that I have in on this side. So that's this axle seal right here. And I'm using this tool right here to push it. All you have to do is push the seal until it's flush. You don't have to push it any further than that. That is one installed pinion bearing. Here's the new rear end right here. And look at this chunk right here. The pumpkin is together. I have all of these bolts tightened down to 102 foot-pounds, and then I marked them all in silver Sharpie so I could tell that they're all tight. So I made sure along the way, because I don't want any of these bolts to come out. So all of these are at 102 foot-pounds, 100% sure. And I know everything on there is tight because I just did it. And now we have 410s on this car. So this 410 combination is going to be a lot more low of a gear. So the gears are going to be shorter, but I'm going to be able to get more power out of them, because the ones that I was having before were like cruising on the highway was almost impossible in 6th gear. So it wasn't really useful. And especially on this car, I'm not going to be going that fast going drifting yet. So we'll wait until we get a little bit more power before we're doing all that. So now it's time for me to put some gear oil on these, put the bearing races on. I have the shim for the left side and the right side from the stock one, and I'm gonna put that inside of the diff and mate those two. So I've done this before on the channel, so I didn't show too much, but I have also finally got it back together. So if you can see right there, there's a locking pin. I have the axles in the car, and I also have them locked in place, so the axles aren't going anywhere. I punched in the studs, so now we should have upgraded 31 spline axles. So these are thicker axles, and they're 31 spline. So a lot stronger than what we had from the stock 8.8 rear end that we swapped out when we first got the car. So now all that's left to do is put the cover back on this right here, and then bolt that down, torque it, take the brakes, mount it back on this caliper bracket right there, put fluid inside of it, connect the shocks, and then the drive shaft. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. All right guys, so if you can't tell, things escalated quickly and this entire table that was here is no longer here. Now we just have a box of parts and a car that is pretty much back together. We got wheels on this thing, freaking XXRs on that mug. Diff is back together. Everything is in and connected. No more leaks anywhere. So now we got a built rear end on the drift car. And for the first time ever, we're about ready to do some drifting with a full-on limited slip differential that will actually lock. So this car should be making some pretty sick skids here soon. Let's get it down off the lift and go do exactly that. Because, man, it's been a long time working on this thing. All right guys, here she is on the ground. We finally have PosiTrack, have a whole bunch of other things dialed in. Hopefully the clutch is bled completely. I did that while it was on the lift, but here's the interior of this thing. And I gotta say, it cleans up pretty nicely. You check that out with the wide angle lens. The interior looks pretty good. A guy makes this bracket right here. His name's Chad Perkins, and you can message him on Facebook on the New Edge page, and you can get a bracket to hold your screen. So this is how I mounted the Terminator screen. So to make that fit, it was pretty easy, and everything else works. The aux beam switch I put down there. I still have to make a shifter boot, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to do there, but I'm gonna figure it out eventually. But man, this thing looks good. We have the golf cart mirror up there doing 180 degrees. We're gonna be making the stock gauges work here soon, so that's a video to look forward to if you're interested in that. 2 nice Corbeau seats, 2 5-point harnesses, and the whole interior of the car is pretty much dialed in. But either way, we're gonna start that thing up and drive her down the road, and hopefully she does good. All right, so this will be the first startup since I did a whole bunch of stuff to this car, so there's a really big 50-50 chance of it doing good and the rear end being shimmed and all that. I'm gonna be really honest with y'all, I didn't really check the shimmage. I just put the stock ones back in and the gear pattern looked pretty good, so I ran with it. So hopefully the diff is good, hopefully it doesn't scream, hopefully the car moves, and hopefully I bled the clutch good enough. Hopefully we don't run into any really expensive cars. Thank you very much to Gavin for letting me use his shop and work on all of his stuff and stay at his house for a month. And I got some news coming as far as the channel goes, but stay tuned for the next videos. But I just wanted to give him a giant thanks. Go watch some of his videos on the channel. We've done a few things in the past few months. So if you want to check out even the old videos, there's a ton of good stuff to watch. But for now, it's time to move this car. The clutch works. I just put the car into multiple different gears, and basically basically tested to see if it would actually do anything. I didn't disengage it, but my AFR says that it's unplugged, and I didn't unplug it. So we're gonna have to check that and figure out why it says that. So this is the bad O2 sensor, and we just replaced it with a brand new one. So hopefully we have an O2 sensor fix. It said that it was unplugged, and it most definitely was not unplugged, so I think the wires got broken somewhere in it. So we're gonna see if we can't turn this bad boy on and get it out of the garage. Guess it's moment of truth time. So right here is when I take the car on its first test drive, and I find out that, first off, you can't just put a rear end inside of a car without shimming it. I just was gonna do it on a pure luck thing, and it didn't work out for me. Second off, the whole car was shaking when it was driving down the road, which is a shimming issue. On top of, I was in 4th gear going 30 miles an hour, so 410s were a little too aggressive for the amount of power I was making. So we're gonna switch these things out to 373s, and the guys at Outlaw Off-Road Atlanta helped us out and went ahead and rebuilt the differential, so now let's go ahead and throw it all back together.
Alright guys, so we are at the shop right now, and there's some things behind me that you don't even need to worry about, but as far as my video goes, check the drift car out. So we just got the diff back from Ryan's shop, and this thing is looking really good. I went ahead and sprayed some paint on it and then just cleared it off to make it look pretty clean, but we've got those upgraded 31 spline axles in here, obviously the dual caliper brackets, the whole thing's painted black. We got this 8.8 diff cover that has the girdle bolts in it, so that way it's gonna support that. 373 gears in this thing, and the only thing that we have to do now to make this diff completely done is fix these bushings right here for the quadra-bind system, because this is why Mustangs run into things. If y'all know Mustangs hit crowds, this right here, these two pieces and the control arms attached to them is the single reason why, so we're gonna go ahead and change that out to all nice parts. The first thing that you have to do is either grab the tool that's built for the job or hit up Mr. Snap-on, and I got this little Snap-on tool. This is an air chisel, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this thing together and air chisel these things out. Kind of hit one of just watch me do it. So I wanted to say a big thanks to Gavin for first off letting me use his shop for all of this stuff and working on my car and getting it fixed up, and then also helping me get this thing re-geared so we can get this thing on the track for y'all, because after all of this time of having this car built and never being able to really enjoy it on a track, it's about time. So that's something that y'all are gonna be able to look forward to. This should work well. Whoa, that's so cool. Look, it got the switch on it. Okay, so the preferred strategy is that's so fun. We got one out. That's a lot cooler than using the tool. Maybe it took a little bit longer and required more air and a fancy tool that's Snap-on and all that stuff, but just considering I had the tool and I was able to use it on something, it's really satisfying. It was so slow, but it just worked so perfectly. It was just inching out, millimeter by millimeter. But this is the old crusty bushing. Do you see this right here? This is supposed to be full of rubber, and this is just dry rotted out and had been moving back and forth. This is why my car, whenever I was driving, I'll drop a clip right now, but you literally like dump the clutch and the whole rear end would shift to the side and the car would rear steer, and I'd let off the throttle and then it would go back to the other side and then it would rear steer the other direction. Not good, and then the whole rear end would shift back and forth. It was because of these guys right here, these bad bushings. So we're fixing those, and then the lowers as well. So that's why Steeda's coming in and they sent lower control arms. This thing is going to get some very, very beautiful parts. When y'all see the spherical bearings we're putting inside of there, Steeda really hooked it up on this one, and so did Gavin as well, because Gavin got the sponsorship from Steeda, and then the parts are going on my car, so I get to show you guys. So go ahead and use the code that right here on the screen if you guys wanna get any of these parts. Let's get this second one out and get it done. And just like that, that's how you remove it. I would say you don't need no fancy tool, but you need the deadgum GAT 3000. Sorry, this is way too fun. You need to get one of these and try it in order to see what I'm doing.
Some of these bushings have been pushed out. If you can see inside of there, there's some rust and stuff that's just built up over time. We're gonna go ahead and take a drill with a steel wire attachment on it, and we're gonna go ahead and just bore out this hole right here. If you can see the before and the after. Something simple as that will do a big difference whenever you're trying to install it. We'll clean this thing up and we'll be ready to put the new spherical bushings in. All right guys, so now that I got these all cleaned up and ready to install the new bearings, what I'm gonna do is take the new bearings that are inside of the freezer over here. The reason why we put them in there in the beginning of this video is so we can have them cold, and whenever things get cold, they shrink up a little bit. Everyone knows how that works. Here they are. These are the frozen things. These things really are cold. Holy cow. This is the spherical bearing from Steeda, which looks amazing, but is cold, and I'm kind of working on a little bit of a time budget. It's like frosting in my hands. So I'm gonna take a little bit of grease, a little bit of anti-seize action, and then from here, well, that was actually pretty simple and easy. I didn't have to press much anything. Since it's frozen right now, it'll probably expand right into place. So I'm gonna take this collar, and I'm gonna put the collar on top of it. So I'll let that expand whenever it warms up, and then we'll be able to tighten this bolt down all the way. This rear end's looking really good. Goodness gracious, this thing's looking solid. Number 2 out the freezer. That's looking so good inside of there. These spherical bearings are the reason that this car's gonna handle so good. We're gonna put a panhard bar on too. We're not doing that right now, but these are all the mods you need to do if you want a straight axle Mustang to actually handle well and to not steer you into crowds whenever you don't want to do it, because the rear end kind of steers for you. We're getting rid of it, and it makes me so happy that we're finally doing so. Perfect fit. Nice. We don't want this coming off, is basically what we're saying here. All right, now that thread locker's on there. And that's good, not going nowhere. Put some thread locker on this one as well. All right, so that is these spherical bearings installed on the diff. There is no play in these, and these are gonna have a lot better of a time up under the car than those goofy bearings that are designed to literally torque on each other. The suspension angle, the way it works is it's like these two arms are bound to each other. So if you unload it, that torque goes in any direction, left or right, so it'll throw your diff off to the side. These are going to be the things that fix it. Holy crap, I don't think you guys understand. There's nothing like taking a Mustang and having the problems of it hitting a crowd and being able to fix all of it so your Mustang doesn't hit crowds. Hopefully I'm not speaking too soon.
Poe's literally got supercar suspension parts going on his Ford Mustang.
I paid $750 for this thing, baby.
For real, dude, the f***ing control arms are almost more than the car?
Yes.
Really, really good.
Well, how long do you reckon these tires are gonna last for?
Probably about
2 dit skillies.
2 dit skillies?
Oh, it might be low.
Is it low?
It's low.
Ride height? That's actually about right. You want the front to be tall and the back to be low on these cars. You want it to squat.
moment of truth. My car touches the ground.
That is very mint.
My car rolls again.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, dog. Look at this man right here. Putting together some fuel lines. We thought some rats had ate it, but I think maybe it was just because I had bought some cheap fittings and they just decided to all fall apart whenever rats got into my car.
Well, I think the rats did eat one truly, but I think that this is showing us some other things that could be fixed while we're at it that is probably going to save you in the long run.
Yeah, probably save us from more fires, and you know we don't want fires in any of the cars, especially race cars. We're gonna get that last gas line in, and then we're gonna turn this thing on now that the rear end's finally in the car.
Very nice. Good shit. It's been a long time. It's pretty sick.
Let's go.
It moves.
drift car and brother.
Dude. Hell yes.
These are the new headlights too, so that's the first time I see them.
Oh shit.
Oh, I love that. First shift in. Goodness gracious, dog, it's driving.
And the diff sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
It's smooth. That is so nice, dude.
Oh my goodness gracious. It's crazy, it's driving so well right now. Like, I'm just like, I'm waiting for something to happen, but it's just not. Dog, thank you so freaking much. The fact that I'm in this car driving right now is still making me like goosebump and hair sticking up.
I feel that. You get to drive it home technically. You could go to dinner with it.
Oh my gosh,
shit,
dog.
dude.
Thank you so much.
Fuck yeah, bro.
We've got a drift car now, by the way.
For real. It has been so long of Poe building this car that we were talking about one day it would be a working, functioning drift car, and we just been waiting a long time to see that day come to real life. And today is finally that day. Damn, you have a finished drift car finally, dude.
What are the chances?
That is crazy.
It's been so long and now everything's done.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing this thing hasn't been touched on.
For real.
Oh, she ride good?
Honestly, yeah, she does ride pretty decent. I probably need to bleed the clutch and then do a few small things here and there, but dude, it's dialed. Look at my brakes.
Oh, dude, no. Dude, no way. Oh, oh, oh. Oh my goodness, dude. Bro. Poe just got his rear diff rebuilt over here by these guys, and so what better place to test it out? He brought the car back. We're gonna see what it does. We got a bunch of new suspension parts, the rear diff rebuild, LSD, all that good stuff, and I think it's been working so far. It almost caught fire on the way over here last time. Are you excited, my friend?
Yes, I'm excited.
This has been a long time coming.
I'm about to drive me car, and it's gonna have no problems, hopefully.
Dude,
like, we don't know.
This is the shakedown. This is the shakedown. Thank you for giving us the spot to test it. All right, my friend.
Go for it.
Have fun.
Like, go right into it or just go into it?
Do it for Lieutenant Colonel Poe. You almost pulled a Mustang really fast, like.
Yeah, I think I just threw my belt.
Oh, really?
It's going.
Oh yeah, there is no belt.
Oh,
That's what popped.
I thought it was a tire, and then I was coming back in, and I was like, I have zero steering.
Okay, and I was wondering why you weren't steering anymore. I was like, you should turn now.
Yeah, I was, but it wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, okay, I follow. Well, see, this is why I'm happy we had a shakedown.
Oh, I see it.
I'm just happy we weren't on track with this happening.
Yeah, well, that's why we shake it down.
That was a quick diagnosis, I must say. You're getting good with your mechanic skills.
Yeah, I was like, I had
away, my belt.
No power steering, and like that doesn't work.
All right, pull it off of the top. It might be really hard without power steering, though.
It's actually not that easy at all. All right, well, I'll get a belt. 72 inches.
That was so...
The number is 6PK2020.
I'm so glad I got that on my phone too.
79.
I was just gonna wait because I knew it'd stop, and then when you were like, "Boo!" and vaulted out there, I happened to move too.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna hit me at first. I was like, well,
Here we are.
at least he's only going 10. Previously, with Poe's old diff that was having issues, only one wheel was peeling. This is clear evidence of 2 wheels hitting skirts. So these guys did their job. Let's go. And it works.
It works really well.
That was fast.
What's going on? Throw the cheap one on.
The heck yeah.
Try the cheap one first.
Thank you. Coolest possible.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, for real.
Drifting the brakes.
Get your diff rebuilt, broke the car.
Goodness gracious.
They done built the diff. You done tested it out on the premises,
And it already
broke
spun
it,
both the tires the whole time.
and already got the replacement. You wanna move that around? Yeah. Last time it went. Yeah, we don't want it there this time. Man, bro. That really is stand-up service right there. That's unbelievable.
You don't see that, bro. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And now you're gonna be able to drift this thing again.
And drive it home and not have to worry about the battery dying.
That was honestly a funny little segment to the video.
Dude. Watch yourselves stand in a spot.
Here's a GoPro.
There's a Mustang driving.
You feel the change in the weather? I think you about to hit something. Not literally though. Don't literally, but like.
Let's hit
something. Okay. Okay. Yo, he's actually kind of getting it. Yo, what? Let's go, brother! Give me some of that. That's fucking solid. That's crazy.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Ryan. Let's go. Oh my gosh, it actually drove for the first time. I put this thing together. I've never gotten it to drive right once since I put it together. This is the first time.
Kill it and pop the hood again? You might have popped the belt.
I don't know, but oh, I'm happy. I don't care. Oh my goodness gracious.
Dude, that is so sick.
I had power steering until I stopped, so. Yeah, we're good.
Oh yeah. Dude, you're good, brother.
I'm telling you, you can't have a drift car without you.
Yeah, facts.
We were like, we got to find a shop.
Thank him, he did it.
Really? That's badass, man. Good work, good work, dude.
Cool to see your work come
to
life.
I know.
It works so well.
That is crazy to see it actually come full circle. It's been years actually waiting for this specific parking lot moment. That's kind of cool. There it is.
There it is.
That is sick, man. And no shimmy. I'm telling you, the rear end, I was watching it, as solid as it gets. The car looks like it's just gliding, just moving around.
It felt like it just instantly, like the Steeda parts and everything
soaring
under there, like work well.
Again, man, huge thank you to Steeda. If you guys want to go check out Steeda Autosports, you can click the link down below. Use code IT'sJustA6 to save a ton at checkout. Without those guys and without these guys here at the shop, this car would not have been able to be to this point today. As you guys have probably seen through the last few years, this man has been through it all with this car. And honestly, I think it is so great that it is in remembrance of his dad. He got to finally have it all come full circle and really have it drift.
I'm just thinking about the first time I went out today versus the second time.
Yeah.
The first time I was like, oh shit, watch out. The second
Does this man know how to steer this vehicle?
No.
The second time, you had it dialed. You literally landed parked perfectly for the beauty shot.
I asked him earlier too. I was like, can Poe drive? Like, I mean, I just didn't know. I was like, can Poe, like, is he just building a drift car and he can drift? And Gavin's like,
no. Now go subscribe to mine and Gavin's channel.